Peace to the family. Peace to the family. I'll be getting started in just a few minutes. I'm just waiting for some people to come in. If you come in, please like the video and please let me know that you're here so I can shout you out. This is going to be a very interesting show. I'm so excited to be here with y'all tonight. I'm a little exhausted. A lot of different things that's been happening, and I am so exhausted. So yes, Ian, it's go time, right? If you're in there, if you're out there, uh, please share, please call. Let's get this going. Who's out there? Love Maestro. What's the purple thing in the chat? The purple thing in the chat. I don't know. Okay. Shout out to my brother, Dr. Daniel LaRoche, MD. Peace to you. So there was a protest out there with Dr. Hawass, something that you are very familiar with. And so they again was out protesting at the Javits Center. And I hung out with them and took some pictures with them and supported them. And I know that you were busy. It's Saturday, so I know that you were busy with patients. Dasharab, peace. But Dr. Daniel LaRoche, your work continues. Tony Macaroni, hey, my good brother, thank you so much for helping fund this particular show. Thank you. Right? You actually funded this show, meaning that you gave the first donation, so that I know that I can get some lunch and breakfast tomorrow and some more. Who is this? Let me just check. Who is signing on? Mahakala. Peace to you. Shout out to you. So let me see. Brother Law is on, so I'm good. Brother Law got my back all the time. Ben Nosut. Peace to you, good brother. To all the Magi's, arrows up. So I'm gonna wait just a few more minutes. Hey, listen, all it's gonna take is 10 new people to chat. 10 people that haven't chatted already, then I know I got an audience. So let's get it. Let's get it. Somebody call Camdiverse. Somebody call Ankh. I see Kent is in the building saying some nasty things about me for no reason whatsoever. You need therapy, bro. You need therapy. After this show, you're going to need more therapy, right? But back to the positive energy. Come on, I need 5 to 10 more people to chat that haven't chatted already. So then I know I got a decent audience. Decent audience to me on my shows is 20 people. Can you believe that? Let me email somebody. Yeah. Okay, so who I got? I got Brother Edward. Shout out. That's one. Oh, wow. I got the lovely Miss Tiffany. How are you, sister? I got the lovely Sharika. Let me just say, my eyes is bad. Oh, no, Sharika. You might have to come on one day and help me pronounce your beautiful name, right? You're going to have to come because I need to be precise. Edward, and let me just email my good brother. Tell him that I'm live. Where is he? I know he wants to see it. So let me just email him real quick. Somebody go find a song car. Go find him. Find my brother. Okay. Okay. There you go. Okay, I think this is the last call that I'm gonna make. Hey, brother La, call brother Morpheus. Let him know that I'm on. Kepara. Hello, Sister Kepara. How are you? Are you with Dr. Ricketti's school? Look at this dude. How do I block him? No, I'm not gonna block you, Kent. I'm just gonna let everybody know that for no particular reason, this dude Kent is harassing me for no reason whatsoever. He needs therapy and attention. All right, so let me get ready to share my screen, turn off this music. Okay. Oh, I guess if I ask for Cash App for people like Kent, that's scamming. Okay, so let me just start. Oh, y'all ready? Y'all got your popcorn? Okay, so get your popcorn, and I'm gonna need a lot of audience participation. I did what I did, but I'm gonna need y'all to weigh in on this, right? So there you go. Share screen. Okay, so let me just go to the chat and turn off the chat. Bad Eye Reggie, I'm 60 years old. Hope that you make it my age. Please. Okay, I don't know how to turn this off. Let's see. TU. Okay. All right, so here we go. Here we go. Peace to the family. This is Brother Reggie, and I am so happy to be here reporting on something that very few people are able to do. I want to thank some people right off the bat, right? This opportunity to talk to Zahi Hawass was made possible by private donations from students and faculty of the Institute of Comedic Philology, founded in 1987 by Sabat Rickety Amen. If you want to know how to read and write Medu Neter, Egyptian hieroglyphs, as it's called, the language of ancient Kemet, you can go to their webpage, meduneter.thinkific.com. And I want to give a special thanks, of course, to Dr. Zahi Hawass for even entertaining my questions, even though I don't agree with him, as you will find out. I also want to give some special thanks to, of course, definitely directly Jenama Kekare and Sinette Monica for making sure, of course, for their beautiful donation and for making sure that I got there. And Jenam Kekare, he actually showed up. Now, they helped pay for my ticket for the VIP. And Jenam Ankh, instead of, because he could have very well done the job that I did or better, he humbly sat in the audience of the regular session. So he didn't get a chance to hear me speak directly. But I have had the pleasure of hearing him present at the ASOR conference, and he will be presenting at the ASOR conference again. So he is one of the few of us who are actually on the circuit of RC and ASAR and other conferences, mainstream Egyptological conferences. So I'm so glad that he actually came after he helped donate and get me into the space. I want to thank a lot of people. Uh, so I'm going through it real quick. I want to definitely thank Mr. Morpheus and Brother La. I talk to them almost every day, every other day. We talk, we argue. Um, but, in our conversations about me going to see Dr. Hawass, uh, I ran my points through them. And Mr. Morpheus has this incredible way of finding what the real arguments are. And so he helped me initially, and then I ran it with Brother La. I want to thank Ankakek and the pseudo killers. Unc calls me every 2, 3, 4 days. What's up, bro? Right? And I told him that I was going to have a conversation with Hawass, and you know how Unc is. Yeah, we'll see. We'll see. Um, and I basically told him generally what I was going to talk about. And I always listen to Ankh, right? Uh, y'all think I disagree with Ankh. I do disagree in some points, but I do listen to him. And Ankh is one of those people who help you kind of fine tune your arguments while you're arguing with him, right? He's a very critical listener and thinker. Camdiverse, um, wow, Camdiverse, he knows uh, people in academia very, very well, and he knows that what the arguments are, and so he was definitely helped me. Asan Ka, my little brother uh, is always on point, helping me smash Rockwell and the Magi Archers. I am always forever grateful. I definitely want to thank Jojo Capone. He calls me every week to give me encouragement, and he's working on getting me some speaking engagements because he's Jojo Capone. Um, and let me just see. And today, wow, um, uh, Tony Macaroni gifted me some money just to encourage me to do the show. Love my fro. She gifted me some money. And this last show I did with DMG, he gifted me some money. So I have a little cash app in my pocket, right? So now, uh, lights, camera, action. Are y'all ready? I press one if you're tired of me talking and you're all ready. Now, this is going to be, remember, I am only in the room, I'm in a $100,000 room. The room that I'm in is a $100,000 room, meaning there's about 120 people there, and uh, and everybody paid somewhere between $800 to $1,000 to be in this room, right? So some people didn't show up, but this was the $100,000 room. Imagine a room that can make $100,000 just like that. And Jedemark, Sinette, Monica, G put me in the room, right? Now, in this room, um, after Dr. Hawass talked for roughly an hour, and I have a lot of the audio on. I have a lot of the audio, which Jenna Mock and Monica G, Sinette Monica G will give it to me. I will probably play some of what he said. But today, we're only really interested in my little conversation with the most well-known archaeologist of Egypt. He is the most well known. He is the most well cited. Uh, he puts his name on every find. The Gem Museum is his museum. Uh, uh, don't get it twisted. Dr. Zahi Hawass is annually a $4 billion man. And he brings that much money into Egypt, and he is trying to bring much more with his gym museum. Good luck. But I had some pointers for him. And we're going to see in a short while. But I don't see the ones. If you're ready for me to start, press 1. Who's messing with Miss Tiffany? They're messing with me, but she is reacting. But it's okay. It's all right. But thank you, Miss Tiffany, for doing what you do. Right? Um, yeah, yeah. Where's the ones if you're ready for me to start? That's Brother La. That's 1. I'm waiting for a few more. Can I get 5 more? Pan African James in apparel. What's going on, Pan African James in apparel? My good brother. Okay. All right. So let's start. Dr. Hawass, welcome to New York. I definitely want to say welcome to New York. I want to ask you a question about the gym. Yes. Okay. Is that okay? Oh, of course. Okay, thank you. About the gym museum, does it now? I'm sorry, I'm going to mute my mic because there might be an echo. So give me a second to kind of mute my mic, and I'll start it over again. 1 second, because that seems to be problematic. Okay, so one second, chat. Who's in the chat? Let's see, captions. Or could y'all hear me? Because maybe I didn't have to do that, but I think I'm going. Okay, so Reggie, let's see if I can mute my mic. All right, I'm gonna mute my mic. Barn Dog, my good brother, Barn Dog. Peace to you. Thanks for watching. Okay, I'm gonna mute my mic. Sorry, but you see me in the room with Dr. Zahi Hawass. Okay, so let's go. Sorry. Dr. Hawass, welcome to New York. I definitely want to say welcome to New York. I want to ask you a question about the gym. Yes. Okay. Is that okay? Oh, of course. Okay, thank you. About the gym museum, does it now will it now reflect modern genetic and archaeological studies that show ancient Egypt was never isolated from North Africa and Sub-Saharan Africa? And issues like noses and lips are common throughout North Africa. And the recent finds of Nui Rod and the Libyan mummy have phenotypes, but sometimes you seem to attack Sub-Saharan Africa as if the rest of North Africa didn't have those those phenotypes. So can you, or will you, with the new studies, will you change your views on North Africa and phenotypes? Thank you.
I want you to know one thing. Because if you're saying, I'm not against North Africa, no. Egypt is in Africa. But what I want to say that if the Black Americans announce that they're the origin of ancient Egypt, this is not correct. Why? Because the kingdom of Kush, the Black Kingdom, always were under the Egyptian control until 500 BC. The kingdom of Kush controlled Egypt for more than 100 years. Means that the kingdom of Kush has nothing to do with the beginning of the Egyptian civilization. Because if you look at the origin of ancient Egypt, there were three things. One, by Sheikh Anta from Singar, who announced the big day that the Egyptian origin were black. Because he saw some black statues of Ramses II and Khalifa. UNESCO made a conference in Paris, and they published a book like this to tell briefly what I'm telling you now. Number two, there was a second theory that the origin of people came from Africa and Asia. And this is why, because the people in the Delta had a little, the faces light. They came from Asia. And the African, the people in Upper Egypt, had a dark skin. But there is many people don't believe in this. The third theory, that the origin of the Egyptian is a cemetery was excavated by Petri in Makada, and he said with a big study that this could be the origin of the Egyptian. And what I want to say, that I'm not against it, but this is the truth. That the kingdom of Kush, the Black Kingdom, ruled Egypt at the end of the Egyptian history, 500 BC. That's my view.
But Dr. Hawass, really quick.
No, we only have one.
Wait, one real one quick. Since he talked about the Black Americans, I do want to say one thing. The modern Egyptians are distinct from the ancient Egyptians, and you have Sub-Saharan DNA. That's what makes you distinct from the ancient Egyptians. But thank you and welcome to New York.
Thank you.
Dr. Hawass's assertion in the questioning to me that Egypt could...
Okay, so let me put myself back on the camera for a second, and let's just start to talk about this. So give me a second to put myself back on the camera. And then we're going to continue, and I'm going to answer some of those questions, but let's, let me just put myself back on camera. So anyway, so here we go. So I'm stop sharing the screen for a second. Great. Okay. Welcome, everybody. I know that was short. I know that some people wanted more of a conversation, and I know that. But I also know how difficult it was to ask that one question when Dr. Hawass only took 3 questions in that room. And he took 1 from me. Most of us will never get a chance to talk to Dr. Hawass unless you go to Egypt, because he only does these type of tours in the United States, and he goes from city to city, and it's very, very expensive. And the issue with having talk to Dr. Hawass, very rarely does he take interviews over the phone or the internet. He largely takes them in Egypt. So through the generous donations of Dr. Ricketti's school, they figured some of their students, they had 1 shot. I'm in New York. I know the area pretty well, and I know the subject pretty well. And so they entrusted me. They gave me a mission impossible, and I succeeded. So I asked Dr. Hawass, after I welcomed him to New York, I asked Dr. Hawass, will the gym, the Grand Egyptian Museum, right now feature new material that connects to science, and with Anka Kakin and the pseudo killers official, they're interested in science, not mythology. And so I asked him, and then I asked him about phenotypes. He largely attacks noses and lips, and big noses and lips seem to be only Sub-Saharan, which is a code word for black. And since we have the new studies of Nuriwat, and we have the Schuneman study, we know that North Africa was a lot different 5,000 years ago, 10,000 years ago than it is now as far as what the populations look like. And we've all been fooled because we think that though the people that look, the people in North Africa, they look like what they look like now in the ancient times, and that's not true at all. And then what he did was he gave what Mr. Morpheus says a non-answer. He didn't answer any of that, and he went on to talk about the Black American misassumption on the origin of Egypt for no particular reason. I'm the only black male in the room. No, there was another African male in the room, but I was the only black American male in that whole room. And there was a sister, but she was from Africa. And there was some women from India that were dark. But I was the only black American in that room, in that $100,000 room. And so with my answer, he wanted to lecture to me about assumptions of the origin of Egypt. And my time ran out. And we're going to talk about all of this, but my time ran out. But he did talk about the Black Americans. Maybe I don't look Black American to him, probably. So he might have thought I was Somalian, Eritrean, or some other possible African group, or not African at all, right? And so since he did talk about the Black Americans, I had to let him know that the Schuneman study and the new human genome study on Nuriwat says that his modern Egyptians, are actually distinct from the ancient Egyptians, right? And that he carries, right, the genomes of Sub-Saharans, as well as North Africans, but certainly Sub-Saharan. And so normally Dr. Zahi Hawass gets away with his big lectures with no pushback. But when I push back on his inherited Sub-Saharan DNA in the modern Egyptians that make them distinct from the ancient Egyptians, he just sat there. He just sat there. And now it goes to some of the things that we argue, because a lot of times, we don't get a chance to talk to the experts, as they say. We get a chance to talk to some of the experts, right? And lately that's been happening more, right, with shows like Ox Show and Garfield Show, and we've been able to talk to the experts. I was talking to Dr. Zahi Hawass, who is the expert. And the problem with sometimes the experts is that they don't respect the questions. So I need to look at your comments, right? Mr. Morpheus says this. His views are not in harmony with the sciences, not at all. right? You have to agree with that. Because I asked him about, will the new museum reflect the archaeological and genetics recent studies? He gave me a non-answer. What is Miss Tiffany talking about? That man is making money the way everyone is trying to. If you can't afford it, go. If not, raise funds. He's not doing anything different in that regard. No, he's not. He is absolutely not. Um, uh, so something is going on in the chat. But the fact of the matter is, uh, Dr. Hawass, he makes billions of dollars for Egypt. And you see the people in the room, they all paid $1,000, roughly $1,000, give or take. And what you didn't see is the books that he had in the room for personal signage, right? So he had maybe about 6 or 7 books that he's written, and people were buying up all the books, right? So, um, um, and why shouldn't they not buy up his books? He is the world's leader in archaeology in Egypt. Now, getting back to the things that he said, right? I have much more to this that I want to say on this video, because some of us know the history of Kush. Some of us know Pianki, Shabaka, Tahaka. Some of people know Pianki's father that began it. Some people know exactly uh, when the Kushites came in, but he didn't. He did talk about Nakata, but he stopped. He didn't talk about Tassian, nor did he talk about Badarian, right? Uh, he stopped, right? Um, what is Sub-Sahara? I think we need to talk about Sub-Sahara, because I'll say these comments before I think I'm going to open up the line, right? But uh, 5,000 years ago, the uh, uh, the climate was changing rapidly, but there wasn't a Saharan desert. So at that time, family, you've been bamboozled. There wasn't a Saharan desert 5,000 years ago. Well, yeah. Well, not 5,000. Yeah. Yeah. Roughly 5,000 BCE, right? There wasn't a Sahara desert, right? So what is Sub-Saharan? But we don't, that's what Mr. Morpheus is like. You're not asking the right questions. First, you got to ask a question. Let's show that there was a Sahara desert, there was a border between Sub-Sahara, right? And then we can go back 20,000 years ago during the Green Sahara phase. There still wasn't a Sahara. So this notion of people not moving is a farce. It's a racial construct for people who don't understand the climate of Africa. It was a period in the time period of Egypt where they was experiencing irregular flooding, and they was experiencing um, more desertification, right? So um, Pan African James, are you messing with Miss Tiffany? Um, Pan African James. Okay, let's say this, right? Let's not let's just not argue over minor points, because one thing is you're certainly not that people are not certainly arguing my points. So she is just trying to help me manage the show. She's pseudo killer official helping brother Reggie out. So she's going across the line, right, to support me. And you normally support me. So the problem is that I think that we need to get to the issue of these what I'm talking about, because what happens is it starts to distract the audience. So for the people who actually study, was there a desertification? Was it just beginning around that period? Right? Um, was there a clear Sahara desert at that period? Right? Were people yes, the Green Sahara was drying up, but people were going to the Nile and they was going to the Niger, and they were still at some of the lakes and the wadis, and they were drying up. But the severe drought did not occur until much later. So during that earlier time period, people were migrating. So, okay, you're not arguing. Okay, so what I'm going to do is for this portion, I'm going to ask people to come in, and I'm going to ask you to talk about only my question and what and whether or not Dr. Zahi Hawass answered my question. That's what I'm going to do. So there you go. Um, Now, I know a lot of people maybe are kind of Cash App. Please support Brother Reggie. Here's my Cash App. I assure you that what I just did for our people was not scamming. It was taking some of our questions that we argue tirelessly on the boards and bring it to the expert archaeologists of Egypt. That's the power of our platforms, to argue enough until it bubbles up and then to seek relief. So Jedem Ankh, Hekare, and Sinette Monica, and Dr. Rickety School, Baba Bonacci, Montgomery, they made this happen, right? We have a lot of scholars, great scholars. They are not on record having a discussion with Dr. Zahi Hawass directly. They're not on record. Your brother Reggie, had that discussion that can lead to other discussions, right? Somebody, I just need to check to see who is, if it's important that somebody's talking to me, because some people need to let me know what's going on with the show. So let's just see. Okay. Check my message. So I put in the link. I thought I did. And now it's your time to weigh in about what you heard. Now, let me just do this. There are some people who have in our community, like the chief and others, who thought that they could speak for Dr. Hawass, but never in their life will they be able to talk to him. And then even if they do, they won't be critical of what he said. But for several years now, they've been touting something. Well, guess what? I asked Dr. Hawass the question. I got a non-answer, right? Then there's other groups of people I like the Baltimore accents. My brother Chef. Well, what would Chef say? Uh, I can't do the Baltimore accent, but he has a very particular one, right? Um, but Sheffrin didn't believe that it was going to happen, right? And uh, but how can I say? But Sheffrin is my brother, but he just didn't believe that it was ever going to happen. Sheffrin, it did happen. Um, Concrete Corey, or brother Corey, uh, uh, was also one of those Mediterranean people. Yeah. Okay. So we have now the rubber meets the road, whereas the conversation now is out there. And because of our work on our boards, Onk's channel, Camdiverse channel, Smashers channel, right? Uh, we pseudo killers. We have been examining the Schunemann study for years since 2019, and then we was analyzing the Nuriwat, and then we was analyzing the North African, you know, and we was just doing that. And so this period is so incredible that I was able to ask him, is his new museum going to reflect the new sciences, right? Shezmu Patel, what's going on? What is going on? I was just asking whether or not the Hawass answer my question about will he change his views based on the new evidence? And what we got was a non-answer. So I'm going to put in the invite to guests again, and I want you to tell me, did Dr. Hawass answer my question? I did not talk about Dr. Shekanta Diop. I did not even talk about the origins of Egypt. I simply asked him, will his views change and why the attack on Sub-Saharan Africa, right? And told him that North Africa and Sub-Sahara the peoples share the same phenotypes, right? And then he forced me to tell him that he, as a modern Egyptian, is distinct from the ancient Egyptians. He forced me to say, Dr. Hawass, you have been passing, my brother, because you got the same as thing that I got, meaning through populations. I'm a little lighter. Me and you, we got the same nose. You got bigger lips than me, right? You can come to the cookout with the bros. My material is African and British and American enslavers. Yours is North African, right? Possibly Arab. Shezmo, I saw you. I saw you. I just was talking. So come back in. So you have, but one thing that we do share is Sub-Saharan. You can come to the cookout. You want some hamburgers? You want some French fries? Right? You can come because you, like me, right? Or you are distinct from the ancient Egyptians, right? I'm not even directly related, but you are distinct. So I'm going to put in, what is my sister talking about? his people is from Turkey. Now I know who Sister Kepra is. Sister Kepra, I have been trying to get her on one of our shows. She is one of the youngest, baddest Medu Nature readers, sister, right? Right? One of the baddest sister Medu Nature readers, right? And thank you for coming. I so appreciate you. Um, but you should see her translate, transliterate, translate. Um, and so this community needs you, but I heard that you're very, very busy and in school. But if you get some time, we can find a show for you because we don't see too many sisters read or transliterate the Medu Neter. So we are so excited about you. So if his people is from Turkey, so I looked it up and he says that he is Arab. He tries to do it Arab based. Dr. Hawass, it's all right. Uh, you can come to the cookout. I know, I'm from Virginia. I know a lot of people who are pastors, black folks who are pastors. They got blue eyes, blonde hair. They got light eyes. My aunt has green eyes. My uncle had blue eyes. Um, you're all invited to the cookout. We can talk because we have something in common. Sub-Saharan, as you call it, DNA. So I'm going to put this, I say Shezmu was the only one coming on. And then I am just going to play a little bit more. But I need your, hey, listen, I mean, what is it? I know a lot of you in the past have had a lot to say about me. In the beginning of the show, some people were saying I was scamming. If you like, I could play the video over again. It's only 4 minutes. So you tell me in the chat what you want me to do. And if you don't want to do anything, but if you do have something in your wallet, my Cash App is there. So I put the link in there to talk, right? If you like, I could play the video over again so that you can actually hear what he has to say to refresh your mind, right? So what say you? Cat got your tongue? What say you? This is the funniest thing is, this is one of the most important conversations. And that's how we take each other for granted, because I was able to talk to Dr. Hawass. Shezmo, you're doing it for the people. What's going on? What's good?
Man, you got it going on. I heard earlier today the couple of questions you tried to answer them, and then the answer he gave, it went right back to his same old spiel on that first question, and then no more questions. They shut you down quick, but you got it in, bro. As always, I'm proud of you. Support you. You've been putting in that work and standing on the front lines for decades now. So I mean, it goes without saying. The naysayers can talk whatever they want to talk, but you always prove your point. You there, they never there. You everywhere. That's what it is.
Well, I try, but here's the thing: is it's a lot of competition in the space, and a lot of people take me for granted, and a lot of people try to minimize the things that I do. But it was Dr. Ketty's students who put their money on me to deliver, right? So it was fourth down. It was 8 seconds left on the play. Jedemonk had he got the football. He's the quarterback. He saw Brother Reggie on the line. He was looking for other people on the line. He saw Brother Reggie on the line, and he says, Brother Reggie, for this money that we all worked hard for, take this ball. Brother Reggie went up in the air, got the ball, right? Javits Center, right? Got the ball, got in front of Dr. Hawass,
Right.
And Brother Reggie brought that football over that line with an inch,
Marshawn style.
right? So
Welcome.
I'm gonna play it again. I'm
Yeah.
going to stay on Sesmo. I'm gonna play it again for the people. So here you go, so that they can see it again. So let's go find it. There it goes, and share it. So I am going to play this again.
Mark, I definitely want to say welcome to New York. I want to ask you a question about the gym. Yes.
Okay.
Is that okay?
Oh, of course.
Okay, thank you. About the gym museum, does it now will it now reflect modern genetic and archaeological studies that show ancient Egypt was never isolated from North Africa and Sub-Saharan Africa? And issues like noses and lips are common throughout North Africa. And the recent finds of Nui Rod and the Libyan mummy have phenotypes, but sometimes you seem to attack Sub-Saharan Africa as if the rest of North Africa didn't have those phenotypes. So will you, with the new studies, will you change your views on North Africa and phenotypes? Thank you.
I want you to know one thing. Because if you're saying, I'm not against North Africa, no. Egypt is in Africa. But what I want to say that if the Black Americans announce that they're the origin of ancient Egypt, this is not correct. Why? Because the kingdom of Kush, the Black Kingdom, always were under the Egyptian control until 500 BC. The kingdom of Kush controlled Egypt for more than 100 years. Means that the kingdom of Kush has nothing to do with the beginning of the Egyptian civilization. Because if you look at the origin of ancient Egypt, there were three theories. One by Sheikh Al-Tajub from Singar, who announced the big theory that the Egyptian origin were black. Because he saw some black statues once in the second and came back. UNESCO made a conference in Paris, and they published a book like this to tell briefly what I'm telling you now. Number two, there was a second theory that the origin of people came from Africa and Asia. And this is why, because the people in the Delta have a little, the face is blind. They came from Asia. And the African, the people in Upper Egypt, have a dark skin. But there is many people don't believe in this. The third theory, that the origin of the Egyptian is a cemetery was excavated by Petri in Akkada, and he insists with a big study that this could be the origin of the Egyptian. And what I want to say, that I'm not against it, but this is the truth, that the kingdom of Kush, the Black Kingdom, ruled Egypt at the end of the Egyptian history, 500 BC. That's my view.
But Dr. Hawass, really quick.
No, we only have one.
Wait, one quick. Since you talked about the Black Americans, I do want to say one thing. The modern Egyptians are distinct from the ancient Egyptians, and you have Sub-Saharan DNA. That's what makes you distinct from the ancient Egyptians. But thank you and welcome to New York.
Thank you.
Doctor.
Okay, so let's put this down. Let me stop sharing this for a second. So there you have it. And there was a moderator there with the mic, and he had taken the mic from me. I got the mic taken away from me, but now he's close to me, so I'm talking loud. So that's why the mic picked me up, right? Because I ain't have the power anymore. But I was not going to let him get the last word after he did not answer my question, right? So what did? Oh, and of course, them boy, how they go, right? right? The you know how that works, right? So he had his own special security in it, but it was just an intellectual question. So, um, but I wasn't going to let him do what he does to other people, and that was special by letting him get away with mistruths. So now what we're going to do? Hey, Mika, how are you doing, Sister Mika? Hope you've seen the early part of the show. So now, Shesmo, you still there?
I'm here. I wanted to kindly ask, is it possible because the I guess the dialect and his English speaking, is it possible that we could break down slow walk this and break down his statement piece by piece? Because basically the only thing I heard from him was the Nubians did not have anything, or not the beginning, did not have did not create the beginning of the Egyptian culture. That's basically all I heard from. I mean, I heard bits and pieces of what he was saying, but the main thing I got out of it was that he said the Nubian kingdom, which, I mean, I guess you could say the Nubian kingdom. He could say that's true, but he would have to go into Noptoplaya and the early Tasseti. He would have to go into that a little bit deeper than to make that you know that Nubian statement. You know what I mean?
Well, was it an answer to my question at all? Did I ask
Oh,
him about that?
not at all. Not at all.
Okay.
Not at all.
So, huh?
He he
Um,
he answered what he wanted to answer.
right. And people paid a lot of money for me to ask him a intelligible question, right? Right?
Right. Right.
Right. So that's in fact what I did. Um, and I just had to force my question because I'm from the Bronx. And so he didn't answer my question. So the most important thing is it was simply a non-answer. Okay, so now I love this. This is what I love. We had somebody in the chat, and they always do stuff like this. So let me pull up what the brother said. Okay, great. The modern Egyptians are not distinct, not 100% the same, of course, just as any ancient and modern populations, but there is a genetic continuity. Okay, so let's uh yeah uh yeah Mr. Scarab Chronicles, I guess you're a YouTuber. I'm Brother Reggie. How you doing? Right? I'm a great researcher, right? Can you pull up a source? Because in our spaces, you source up or you ST, right? FFU. Pull up a source. Okay. While you're pulling up a source, since you're in your feelings and you want to say stuff, right? Right? You're in your feelings. I'm gonna pull up an article for you. The sister is Egyptian. Okay, does that, and she's a modern Egyptian. She's distinct from the ancient Egyptians. Share screen. All respect to you, sister. The blog of Coptic literature, cultural, and politics. So I believe the Coptics are Egyptian. Oh, let me get this off. Hi, message. I believe the Coptics are Egyptians. Right? Okay. The Coptics say that they are more ancient Egyptian than the Levant and the Arab base because they've always been there. But what is the title of this? Present day Egyptians are genetically different from the ancient Egyptians. Unimportant research reveals 2019. What research are they pulling up? They're pulling up the Shunaran report. An important study was published in the Nature Communications on the ancient Egyptian mummy genome, such an increase of sub-Saharan African ancestry in post-Roman periods, right? And then in that they were saying ancient Egyptians more closely more related to Europeans than modern Egyptians, right? Scientists claim, right? So, but in this study, which is called the Shinran Report, and I don't know if you've read it, right? I think it's something that you talk over tea or something like that, or dates, right? Something like that, right? The fact of the matter is that when this thing happened, increased mobility along the Nile, right? Let me just read this top page, right? So that I can. The ancient Egyptians were genetically distinct from the modern Egyptians. The genome of the mummified individual contains almost no sub-Saharan DNA, but modern Egyptians do. That dominates the genetic profile of modern Egyptians. Possible reasons for the high sub-Saharan ancestry in modern Egyptians include increased mobility down the Nile and increased long-distance commerce between sub-Saharan Africa and Egypt. Oh, can I remind you about the trans-Saharan slave trade? It's known to have moved between 6 and 7 million sub-Saharan slaves to northern Africa, including Egypt, over a span of 1,250 years, reaching its high point in the 19th century. So maybe some of the misdeeds of the modern Egyptians come back to bite them because they did not only move these Africans from the trans-Saharan slave trade, they admixed with them. And that admixture now makes the modern Egyptians distinct from the ancient Egyptians. And so what else does the Shinran report say? Okay, so they talk about pre-Ptolemy. And so, okay. So when you thought the Shinran report was really trying to say the ancient Egyptians were more European, what you didn't read was that the Shinran report used the model of modern day populations of Egypt in its study and found that the modern day, present day Egyptian population had something that the ancient Egyptians did not have. And we're okay with that. You know why we're okay with that? Because it wasn't us that divided and created the sub-Saharan BS, right? Because they're all, like Ankh say, Africans in Northeast Africa. And so the Northeast Africans migrated into that region and mixed with populations in the South, right, to form what we call Egypt. But I don't know if you know that, right? So I have something that I'm going to play for you besides this. So what is this? What is the same thing right over here? Next, okay. So then they're doing their studies. Who's calling me? Okay, I can't take your call. Okay, so I saw here. The scientists determined whether modern Egyptians could be modeled as a mixture of ancient Egyptians and other populations. So it was tested. Did you put your tea down? Or you're still in your feelings? Or you want me to believe what you believe? I don't believe it. I believe the paper. For this, they computed F3 statistics. The result is shown in 6C, and it points towards sub-Saharan populations as the missing component, confirming the result of the admixture analysis. Modern Egyptians is admixed with lots of groups of people. Next, the scientists estimated the fractions of sub-Saharan African ancestry in ancient and modern Egyptians. For this, they used two methods, the QPDM and the F4 ratio test. They came with the following result. Modern Egyptians inherit 8% more ancestry from African ancestors than the three ancient Egyptians from the Shinran study did, which is also consistent with the admixture results above. Absolute estimate in three ancient Egyptians range from 6 to 15%, and in the modern Egyptians, 14 to 21%. Now, no one is saying that the present day Egyptians are not related to the ancient Egyptians. You're North African. But
Brother Reggie, I got a question.
Yes.
Would it be safe to say, um, with the current information and studies that we have, genetic and historical, that the modern Egyptians of today are more closely related to the 2000 BC North African or lower Egyptian community or peoples versus the upper Egypt communities from before 2000 BC?
Well, until we have samples, we can better estimate, right? So we need more genome. We need more samples to genome. Now, if I knew it was Gina instead of Scarab Chronicles, I would have been. I wasn't mean, but I would have been much nicer, right? Because she's somebody on our platforms. So, but the point, general. So, is that okay? What I said to you, Shesmo?
Mm, I mean, I think you could probably do a little bit better than that, right? With the current information that we have, can you elaborate?
The problem is now I'm on. You got to remember. Now I'm talking about Dr. Zahi Hawass, and unless I have a paper in front of me or something like that, I want to be cautious. So, what are you saying?
So he's saying that the modern Egyptians, including himself, are more related, or I won't say more related, but are related to the ancient Egyptians. He doesn't distinguish between the northern Egyptian population or the southern Egyptian population, which he does because he says Nubian. He doesn't actually say southern Egyptian dark skinned population. You know what I'm saying? He doesn't throw a caveat out there to even acknowledge to me that there were
Yeah.
more melanated individuals or peoples of Egypt or I say of Kemet, but we can use a modern day term. I hate using it, but we can use a modern term of Egypt.
Well, his escape hatch. Here's escape hatch, and his escape hatch is that he will say that the Egyptians were dark, but they're not black. So
Right.
that's the escape hatch. Okay, so Gina, what are you saying? Would that be like your European admixture too, Reggie? Um, yes, that my European admixture makes me distinct from the African populations directly. So that's why I'm an African American, right? So you're correct about that. I'm going to handle that professionally, but yes. So the uh, so um, so here's
But,
this.
but Reggie,
Now you got to go. So I'm gonna tell you this is why you got to go. So now I'm put this up here,
but,
and
but,
okay. So Scarab told you. Okay, so now you got to go. Um, you
but Reggie.
yeah. There you go.
So
One second. Wait, I'm blocking somebody.
go ahead, go ahead. You should
Okay.
let them ride. Don't stay in the chat
Okay.
too much.
I put them on timeout.
Yeah,
So but so that's the escape pack. So
right.
now
But I got a question for you, Reggie.
yeah.
So your and my um, genetic influence of European DNA is younger than the West. There, because there's influence of European DNA in Africa, in West Africa, particularly North Africa, and even older than 1492,
Mhm,
or even when the Portuguese went.
mhm.
But so it's hard to you said you're distinguished from the African population, but are you really? Because the
No, I'm distinct. I have my genomes make me distinct. So once they put my genomes in your, my genomes under that, they can see the admixture. And so the question that uh, Sosa said, current position, they are the closest to ancient Egyptians. That's not that's actually not necessarily so because they're different Egyptians, living in Egypt.
Right.
So there are populations, social world, that are more closer to the ancient Egyptians than others, right? And so, for example, they're never going to put the Nubian people under the microscope. They're never going to put them under the microscope. The Coptics are waiting for their report to come in. Um, and so then there's the Levantine and then there's the Arab groups. So when you're talking to someone like me, I know that there is much more distinction in the groups. But the fact of the matter is, nobody's an ancient Egyptian civilization, a member of it, because it's a dead civilization. So you might be biologically connected to it, but you're certainly not part of the culture. You're not the pyramid builders. We don't even have all the evidence, right? Most of these people who are claiming that they're ancient, no, 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 no. They read the Quran. They don't read the Medu Neter. No, no, no. They're culturally distinct. They're not only biologically distinct, they're culturally distinct, right? Nobody knew the Medu Neter after the Romans ended the writing and the Arabs ended the speech, right? So, um, okay, pseudo killers is live. Shout out to pseudo killers, right? Run. Okay, so the issue is those things, and so why now you can claim it and you're claiming the heritage, but do you love the culture and the heritage? See, you have how can I say, they have a large religion there, and that religion stops them from dealing with this ancient African culture. So I'm not going to leave that out. So what I'm going to do now is I'm going to stop sharing this, and then I want to deal with what I wanted to deal with, Shesmo. But you can help. I'm going to play the next part. The next part is I'm going to ask: was Dr. Zahi Hawass right about what he said? About what he said about what he said about Kush. So let's go play my video here. And if you want to see my facts, I will, but I converted it into a video. So I can show you my references. So let's go and play. Oh, again, if you're liking the show and if you want to buy your brother, Reggie, some breakfast, lunch tomorrow, I would appreciate that. Um, because I am so thankful of the generous gift of Dr. Ricketti's students. Uh, they show real love, right? And I love them. But people will be using this uh, um, question in their blogs. They will be using it. Why? Because it's so important. Because Dr. Hawass came to the United States. And of the people who came to the United States, one person stood up for science. That's me, right? One person stood up for the misuse of Sub-Saharan. That's me, right? That one person got the shot from our community to do it. That's me. But it wasn't just me, it was through the help of some real dedicated students of the Medu Neter. And so I appreciate this. I appreciate these boards. But check this out. Next week or the week after, don't be mad at me when I go to one of those big shows of other groups of people. You know, the shows to get 20, 40,000, 50,000 views on the topic, right? Some big show wants me to talk about Egyptian mythologies and Christian and Hebrew religion. And it's a very big show. And guess what, family? I'll probably be the only non-PhD African American on that show. But I'm gonna go there because I know that many of you appreciate me, and I've served you for so many years, and I will continue to serve me. But I see that there's an element of hate and jealousy and envy and lying, right? Whereas I show sources, I've been in the places where people couldn't be. I've been to West Africa in 86. I'm West African. Okay, fine. I've been there in 86. I didn't just go there with 86. I went there with Dr. Zahi Clark. In 87, I went to Egypt. I'm 60 years old. You think you're my age. You're not my age. Somebody else is coming in? Jose joined. Okay, so I'm going to put Jose on, and then what I'm going to do. Hey, peace, Jose. How you doing?
Good night, Brother Reggie.
Oh, good night to you. So what I'm going to do is on this segment right here, I'm going to play for the people just to check what Dr. Zahi Hawass said about Kush. Okay, so let me just screw that up, and then we can continue to talk. And so, but I know the crabs of the barrel syndrome, right? Everybody's everybody, and so because they didn't do what I had to do and stuff like that, they could find a way to be me, but that's okay. So let's go and play the rest of it.
Or distinct from the ancient Egyptians, and you have Sub-Saharan DNA. That's what makes you distinct from the ancient Egyptians. But thank you and welcome to New York. Thank you.
Dr. Hawass's assertion in the questioning to me that Egypt consistently controlled Kush until the 25th dynasty is not supported by current scholarship and historical evidence. Archaeological data indicate that for much of antiquity, Kush, identified with major centers such as Kerma, Napata, and later Meroe, was an independent and sometimes rival kingdom, not a perpetual vassal state under Egypt's dominance. During the Kerma period, c. 2500, 1500 BCE, the Kushite kingdom developed a complex society that engaged in trade, diplomacy, and at times military conflict with Egypt, highlighting its independence. Turok, 1998. While Egyptian conquest of parts of Kush did occur during the New Kingdom, c. 1550, 1070 BCE, their dominance lasted for only about 4 centuries and dissolved with the collapse of Egypt's centralized state. After this, the Kushites re-established sovereignty centered at Napata, eventually reversing the dynamic by conquering Egypt and establishing the 25th dynasty between circa 750 and 656 BCE, Morka, 2000. Between the end of Egyptian rule in Nubia and the Kushite conquest of Egypt, the kingdom of Kush flourished independently for over 2 centuries. It was only during specific periods, namely the New Kingdom, that Egypt exerted direct political control over Kush. Archaeological and textual evidence show that this was the exception, not the rule.
So Dr. Hawass was completely incorrect about that. That was the exception and not the rule. And to Sister Kepra, I took Dr. Ricchetti's introduction to Meta Nature in 1980, I think, circa 84, 85, I think more like 85, maybe 85, maybe going on 86. So I've known Dr. Moot for more than 37 years. And I knew her when she was a PhD candidate. And she was gracious enough to teach us Medu Neter at the City College of New York under Dr. Leonard Jeffries. That is how long. And so you can ask her about me, and you can ask Baba Bonacci about me too. Thanks.
Wellesby, 1996. Therefore, the portrayal of a continuous Egyptian hegemony over Kush until the 25th dynasty is inconsistent with the historical record. Title: Egypt's...
Okay, so now we know that Dr. Hawass was just talking, not necessarily like an expert. Egypt did not control Kush for as long as he said. And so his kind of thinking is maybe not too great on or specific on Kush, or maybe my comment was surprising to him. So now I'm going to talk a little bit about. Well, I have another part of the show, but I'm gonna Joe. So let me just stop sharing right now. So Joe, is Joey still here? So yeah, I mean, Jose, what's going on, my good brother? What you got to say? What's happening?
Yeah, man. To me, I always feel you can't really make a direct distinction necessarily between Kush, Kemet, and quote unquote Nubia because they're not necessarily distinct from each other in the way that people try to make it to see.
Well, they are,
I think there's
and
always
it's
been
all
some
right
sort
to
of
be distinct. See, it's all right to be distinct. That's the problem. You see, uh, uh, Nubia, Sudan has deeper ties to the south than the North Africans. The North Africans meet them on this corridor. They meet them at Gif Kaber. They meet them in Nabta Playa. Uh, they meet them and they admix with them. It's okay. The all these groups of people contributed to pre-dynastic Egypt and then to Egypt. Norma came from the south, right? Um, and then they had a revolution that went all the way up to the north to join them. He was the ruler of the red and he was ruler of the black. It's okay to be distinct because we have this unfounded, sometimes unfounded love for ancient Egypt as if the other cultures and civilizations did not matter. They did. Lots of times we hear the so-called ancient Egyptian story because they wrote it, right? And we take their side, right? So every culture is has in Africa has some significance during this around the Nile Valley,
Brother
right?
Reggie.
Yes.
Not to interrupt the question, Joey. Did you have anything else before this question is going to be close to what you are asking as well.
no, but I'm not being. I don't think I'm being Egyptocentric. I just think that there's a nuance to the relationship between these groups, and people try to make it seem like if you, people try and separate the groups for racial reasons and things like
Well,
that, not genuinely because they think that they were separate. You always hear
but
people try and say, "Well, the Cushites is not this, and the Egyptians is this," and they're playing this. That's where
Well,
I have about it.
the ancient
That is why
Egyptian
Egypt
literature,
trying to just separate.
but the ancient Egyptian literature, but the ancient Egyptian literature shows the separation in cultures and groups and leadership,
right,
right? They show it, right?
right.
They use the word hesi, which is not necessarily the word retz that we use it, but the a powerful group that they don't like, right?
Southern. Well, at times I don't think they didn't like them. There was just a difference, and then there was times where they had to incorporate them into their.
Why incorporate them into why is the need to incorporate into them?
Be-
They attacked. The Nubians were so-called raiding Egypt. Some of the biggest forts that Egypt has is around the Nubian frontier.
well, they had to incorporate not only Nubian tribes, but they had to incorporate Cushite
But
tribes.
that's imperialistic, and they ain't got to incorporate nobody.
No, listen, no, listen. I'm talking about southern. I mean, well, Upper Egypt when it was overthrown from the north. From the north, and this is my question was, and I want to finish that from north. The When they said we have Kemet and they have of ours, I know that was the 17th century. I'd have to really go deeper to tell you the story or the you probably know the literature where they went down and they had to get their southern brothers, even though they may have had to come with the sword or with the spear. They rallied their southern brothers. They made peace, and then they went to help them fight those in the north.
You're talking about the Hekakusu period, and the Hekakusu period was a internal revolution within Egypt, and the Thebians are writing. That's what they're writing, right? And the Thebians are saying that they have a slice of Kemet, or yes, they have a slice of Kemet, and so the three groups. There are three groups here. There, well, um, so the Nubian groups of people, you're talking about the Magi's, right?
Correct.
And you're talking about other groups of people. But in this later, what we find is one of the kings of the Hekakasu. His name is Nehesi.
Right.
So what we find is that there are confederations going on, and it could have been just a particular series of rulers that they didn't like. And we certainly take this. You seem to take the side of Second Enray and the Kamos and the Amos family, right? Because of the literature, because it sounds right. But the fact of the matter is, there was a king called Nehesi. So sometimes it's not racial.
No. So,
Racial.
so I was agreeing with you that there are distinct groups, and I was, just saying, Joey, that's the differences. And it's not nuance; it's old. But my question was: is Kush? Answer this question, and be fair. Is Kush North Africa or some other Africa? What is Kush?
Kush, part of Kush is North Africa. Um,
Part of Kush is
well,
is Ethiopia North Africa?
yes, and it's
Is
further down,
is,
right?
is Uganda North Africa, or what is?
No, no, no,
Uganda's
but
East Africa.
right. Well, yeah. So it's not Northeast
So
Africa.
so
So yeah,
go ahead.
but I don't have to. We don't have to talk about geography. We can look that up. The fact of the matter, the
But
fact
I'm
that
just saying,
yeah,
we always say that we always treat Kush as if it's not North Africa.
who does?
Most people, you just did. If you don't realize it,
No, I didn't.
No, he didn't do
when we
No, I
that.
play,
didn't.
He didn't do that. He didn't do that.
when we
No,
He
I
play,
didn't
didn't.
say that, Chesney.
you
Because let
bring
me play the rest of the video. Let me play the rest of my video, right? So you can understand what I'm saying. Okay, so let's go back a little bit, right? See, sometimes we're arguing labels, and then we have to fix the nuances, right? And so the nuances are like I use the word Egypt, right? Why should I use Egypt? Because I'm trying to communicate with people who understand it, right? So let's just do this. Let's just play the rest of my video. Okay. Oh,
Wells.
sorry. I gotta share it. Okay. Okay. So okay.
B. 1996. Therefore, the portrayal of a continuous Egyptian hegemony over Kush until the 25th dynasty is inconsistent with the historical record. Title: Egypt's reluctance to share ancient DNA. Data: legal, ethical, and cultural dimensions.
Okay, so that went further than so I had made my point earlier, or I just didn't put it in the video because I know I didn't add it to the video. I wanted to talk about the double kingdom. So I wanted to talk about the double kingdom of Taharqa. So the double kingdom of Taharqa was Lower Egypt, Upper Egypt, and then Lower Nubia, and then Upper Nubia, right? And it was the longest spread of populations. The you have people who are Egyptologists, and then you have people who are archaeologists, people who are anthropologists, people who are linguists, and and some people are nubiologists, right? Nubiologists, and so it's within those groups that we hear different type of terminology. So I did not unfortunately put that piece in, so I can't go over it in a video.
okay.
But
When you say lower, what? I want to go to geography again. Where is is Taharka's lower
Lower
control
what? Lower Egypt or lower Nubia?
Egypt.
Huh?
Egypt.
Lower Egypt is the Delta.
He went. Oh, okay. So
Upper
which
Egypt is the Upper Egypt
right,
is is going toward the south, going toward passing
right,
down Thebes into the I could do it with cataracts, but I would want to be more precise. And
right,
then there's Lower Nubia, that is past Aswan,
right,
past the frontiers, and then there's Upper Nubia, which goes all the way down to Nakata.
right.
Right.
And Taharka's rule was around what 1200 BC.
We can look up the precise date. We can look up the actual precise date, but it's within the 25th dynasty,
Okay.
right? So if that helps. So now I want to go. Yes.
I was just saying that's late.
What do you mean late?
I mean, how many dynasties? How far did the dynasties go?
Um.
What was the last dynasty? What 29?
Yeah, but what do you? I mean, so the 25th to 26th dynasty. How can I say? Egypt is going through transition, and then in the later dynasties, you will have the more of the invaders come in, right?
Right, right.
And
That's the last
so,
dynasty.
but what do you mean that's late?
That I mean, compared to the first dynasty.
Okay, so what do you want to talk about pre-dynastic and first dynasty? What in
No,
this context, what do you want to say?
no, and
Right
I,
now, Egypt is being heavily admixed, and so you have this third intermediate period where now you have much more people from the south who are distinct coming into Egypt, right?
right, right,
The Egypt have been admixing with itself for all those dynasties until the end with what I'm saying with itself with the populations within. And so now you have a population that is certainly not necessarily all directly related to them coming into it, and it adds to it. And that admixture, right, would influence the other how can I say the other periods, because now they are there and they are admixing, and so then when you have the um, shortly you will have the Greeks come in, and then you have the Romans come in, and then you will, and then for a long while you will have the Arabs come in. So
right,
admixtures continuously coming on, but the ancient groups, the Nuiwat, they're distinct from this group from the third intermediate period.
right, right. And not speaking
Oh,
the
my,
admixtures that happen in like 60,000 years and 30,000 years of the North Africans and the Middle East area that were still, I consider them still Africans, but they lived outside of Africa, and they interbred between. And then when they changed later on, after I'd say 9,000 BC, and
okay.
then the influxes started coming in. Then that's when
Okay,
I
there's always been a population from the Levant.
right,
That population, the Rakit population and the Libyan populations, they've always this population's been there for 10,000 years,
right,
right?
but
And
those
there's new
populations
groups of people,
changed.
Canaanites, right?
Right,
New groups of people coming in during different type of periods. Then there's certainly the Hyksos period. The people are coming in, and so people are always coming in, and then Africans are going outside to Canaan and stuff like that, and mixing there, right?
right,
And then you have kings marrying wives that are foreign. And
right.
on this show right now, I have uh, Sinette Monica G, and she is one of those people who helped me get to the Hawass
Bless
uh,
her.
event, right?
Yeah.
And she is one of Dr. Ricketti's students. So is Sister Kepra that has been talking in the chat, and Jed and Ankh is somewhere, probably resting.
And
Um,
Any blessings to Dr. Burketti.
Yes, and she has good. Dr. Ricchetti is very interesting. She has, she's like I call her a living principle, nature. She has high expectations, but her special expectations is saying is basically you're supposed to do it. You're just supposed to be. You're supposed to do it. I don't
Right,
expect anything less,
right,
right? Anything that is not equal, I don't expect that. I don't expect you to fail.
right.
So now the next part of this and the last part of it for today is now there's an interesting caveat because I asked Dr. Hawass, will the Gym Museum take the side of science? Right? Now, you have to understand that the Nui Wat and some of these samples that we have, it's these are Egyptian samples, but the work was done out of Egypt. So the interesting thing is that it seems that Egypt wants to protect its cultural norms and
Right.
it wants to protect its hegemony over what they're saying that ancient Egyptians are them. And I am saying they are custodials because the Arabs
The
uh,
land.
and the Berber groups that they converted took over the region, and then the Ottomans came and
Yeah.
took over the region from them, and so they're custodians for a while. Like a lot of other groups, they were willing to keep it buried or burn it, or right, it's pagan to them, right?
And, and, and Brother Reggie, when you say, are you going to keep it? He can still sidestep by yeah, I'm gonna keep it with science. But if I do the genetic
Mhm.
breakdowns of mummies that are related to the 2000 BC, I'm gonna go back to the 2000 BC rulers of Lower Kemet or Lower Egypt, if you want to say, then I can say I'm sticking with science, but yet now I'm sticking with only that side of science, not the Nubian side of science.
Well, I'll just say that please don't fall into the trap of
Or the Kish
of
side.
of racializing things. Please don't fall
It-
into that
that's
trap.
science, though. But that's what
No, no, but
that's
there's
what they
no
do.
real borders of Lower Egypt and how can I say Lower Egypt and Upper Egypt, right?
But they
You
have tombs. They have tombs with Ptolemies that they could do genetic research on, and then what? And they have tombs that they can do more genetically related to the lower Egyptian
okay?
Libyan population, and then what? And then you say, don't. It's not about racial. It's just the facts of science, and then
What is the fact?
the fact is that you
Because I
can
want to move on. What is the fact?
single out the depiction or the idea that you want to project by sampling only specific samples to go along with your uh, agenda or your
But
viewpoint.
that is what Schunemann did, but that is what Schunemann did, and
Shunaran did a
therein lies the
great
problem.
thing. Shunaran
Even
did a
though,
great thing. They picked one
even though,
cemetery. We got a lot of information from that. That's
right,
science, right? They made some
but
conclusions
but
that we
but
don't
but
like, but what they did was science.
right, Reggie, and we can go with what they're saying, but they had some problems with what they were doing because they didn't get a big enough sample. And if they would have
But
got a big
no,
enough
but then you
sample,
get another
then they would not have
sample.
been
But that's how science works. So then you do that.
right. But they were debunked for using, but they were debunked for not using a good sampling,
But their data wasn't their
even though they
data
came to
wasn't
conclusion that we can
debunked.
agree with.
The data wasn't debunked. So let me just go on because guess what? Here's the thing. Here's the thing. I appreciate you. I respect you. I love you, right? But I've been doing this work for a long time, and I find that we find ourselves in this trap. And I think the trap really is that you don't understand that there were light-skinned Nubians and dark-skinned Egyptians, and I think that you're kind of following into a skin trap because you're trying to
No,
separate.
I wouldn't say so. I wouldn't say so.
Yeah, then
I
what are you
think there is a
doing?
distinction. I think there has to be, but there has to be. whether skin color or not, there has to be a distinction to say that yes, yes, the Kushites might have been a
They're
different people, but then
African,
there's
so
a time where
why
they
are
weren't a
we
different people.
having? See, this is the problem. So I got Monica on here, right? And Jed is not far away, and then there is other. We trying to get. We have been winning for since 2019 on getting rid of this colonial BS stuff with science. You can't be mad at the Shinneran report, right? Most people haven't read it. It's giving us great data. Then we had the Nuriwat that agrees with the Shinneran report. Why? Because it's the same science. Now we have more information. Now we need more specimens. The problem is Egypt has a lot of the specimens and they are controlling it. So here's the last part of my presentation. Anyway, if anybody's liking the show, here's my Cash App, right? You're talking to a person who actually got in the room to ask a question. I may not ever have a chance again, but I asked all your questions, and I asked it professionally. I asked it succinctly, right? And I got what I got, and I appreciate him even answering me. But I have Monica Monica G on, and these are the people that I care about. These are the people who see my work, see my struggle, and support me and get me in the room because they know that I can get something out of it so that we can go to the next stage. You want everything. You want the rivers without the you want the oceans without the awful roars of as many wait. You want the rivers and you want the oceans. You want the world without the struggle. I struggled, right? I sacrificed years just for a chance to be in a place where I can contribute, right? I wrote a journal article not for pay, not for a book, but for y'all. But y'all won't read it. Like, don't get in the trap of the skin game because you're not going to be any better than Hawass. You are racializing things that you don't have to racialize. We're just talking about trying to find the truth about Africa. And Dr. Hawass is not an expert on history. He's not an expert on genetics. He is an expert on archaeological finds in Egypt, and we appreciate that part of him. But when he steps over the book,
I didn't mean to disrupt the show, but I think I'm being a little bit misconstrued. I'm
not talking about you.
Oh, I thought.
See, that's the funny thing.
Okay, I thought you were answering Joey and my questioning, and I thought you were relaying that to us. But I was more speaking of genetics. But if you're speaking to the people in the chat or something like that, I apologize. But
I'm
yeah,
speaking to everybody, but nobody specific.
Oh, gotcha.
So here we go. So here we go. So what we're going to do is we're going to talk about what's happening with Egypt and genetics.
And textual evidence show that this was the exception, not the approach toward sharing ancient Kush until the 25th dynasty is inconsistent with the historical record. Title: Egypt's reluctance to share ancient DNA. Data: legal, ethical, and cultural dimensions. Egypt maintains a cautious approach toward sharing ancient DNA, aDNA data, and biological samples with the international scientific community. This reticence arises from a convergence of legal, cultural, ethical, and scientific considerations. Legal and regulatory frameworks. Egyptian law enforces rigorous controls on the export and distribution of ancient DNA and associated genetic data. Researchers seeking access must obtain multiple layers of governmental and institutional approval. These regulations are crafted to prevent unauthorized removal of genetic resources and uphold state sovereignty over Egypt's archaeological and biological heritage. Zayed, Shaheen, and Badawi, 2021. Cultural heritage considerations. A history marked by colonial-era removal of artifacts has fostered a heightened sensitivity toward foreign access to ancient Egyptian biological materials. Protecting cultural heritage is seen as central to national identity, leading to a prioritization of domestic research initiatives and compelling most ancient samples and genetic analysis to remain within Egyptian borders. Eustachio, 2021. Ethical implications. Ethical imperatives also inform policy, particularly regarding dignity for the ancient dead and potential connections to living populations. The current framework emphasizes the ethical handling of human remains, careful management of genetic ancestry studies, and the avoidance of data exploitation or misrepresentation. These considerations are reinforced by the perspectives of the Egyptian public, who often voice concern over the fate of both human remains and their genetic information. El Awadi, 2020. Scientific and logistical factors. Egypt's growing investment in its own genomics infrastructure now enables the country to handle the full sequence of aDNA work domestically, from extraction to bioinformatics. This eliminates earlier dependence on foreign laboratories and further reduces the need to share samples or data externally. Zayed et al., 2021. Conclusion. Egypt's reluctance to share ancient DNA data stems from comprehensive legal protections, cultural and ethical responsibilities, and a commitment to scientific self-sufficiency. Consequently, international access to ancient Egyptian genomic material is tightly restricted, with most research now governed by domestic protocols and priorities.
Okay, so there is a I'll stop sharing. So the reason why I showed that is that Egypt has a wall on genetic studies, and what we're finding out is that we are getting information about genetics from material that was taken out of Egypt earlier. So that's how we got the Nui Wat sample, right? Let's just see. I want to thank the $19 for the show. I got $19. I want to say thank you. This work is my brother Brass. Is that Brass today? Thank you, brother Brass. I appreciate you. Besides Tony Macaroni earlier, before the show, you're the second person who donated for the show. I got no other support for the show. So that's just the way it goes. You people want to hear aliens. You want to hear UFOs. You want to hear people that tell sophisticated lies. But I'm really thankful for Dr. Ricketti's students. For at least helping me move the needle. The rest of the problem is I've seen that what you give to those other programs, right? Sheffrin's always Sheffrin. You need to stop. Sheffrin be like, one hand, yo Reggie, I got you, and the next minute he'd be like, nah, you scamming. Sheffrin is the ultimate. He's the man. But Sheffrin, I made it. I spoke to Dr. Hawass. I did, right? At the Javits Center, right? Sheffrin, Dr. Hawass, I don't know it's that Baltimore accent. He's smarter than you. He's going to get you. Sheffrin, it didn't happen. It didn't happen, right? It did not happen. He did not get me. Unfortunately, he got. What's happening with my monitor? Something happened. Let's see if I can turn it back on. I lost my monitor. Okay. So yeah, it happened, Sheffrin. I got Dr. Hawass to talk to me, right? And if you listen to it, his answer was a non-answer. He was mad at the Black Americans and Diop, and we didn't even ask him about that, right? But yeah. How can I say, Sheffrin? We did it. Me talking to you and arguing with y'all, got me to make a concise statement. So I so appreciate it. So thank you, Sheffrin, for coming on this show. So listen, I mean, I'm not gonna talk anymore. $19. I'm not gonna it's not I'm not doing it for the money. I just think that you don't know when you're winning. And other people and how can I say you don't know when you're winning. We wanna talk. Um, but the question is doing. The question is, are you being ready, making yourself ready, right? That's the question. The question is, we can talk as crabs in the barrel, getting ready to get boiled, right? Or we can, in fact, make a commitment and do it. I've been doing this work for close to 40 years now. I'm not appreciated by the YouTubers, but I see where you who you appreciate, right? Any fringe theory, any argument, anything that you think that you know more than someone else knows without college, without writing a paper, right? Because YouTube allows opinions. But the difference is that yesterday I was in the place, and I was in a very important place, and I was and my videos, it will talk to the world. So you could talk to me in the chat, like this. Now here's a person. Now I have a journal article. I'm an honest in Black Studies. I worked at the Schomburg Center for Research in Black Culture. I'm a known student of Dr. Ben, Dr. Clark, Dr. Jeffries, and this person is worried about me being cooked by whom, and so that's why he wants to irritate me to stop the show. But Shakir, let me tell you to your face. Look at me. I'm gonna take off my glasses. I don't need my glasses to speak. Shakir. Currently, right now, if we both died tomorrow, nobody will remember you and your work and your contribution in 20 years. You'll be dust. You don't have any writings. You don't have any publications. You don't have anything that's notable in your life, but you do have your YouTube chat. That's great. Maybe somebody in 20 years will pull up this YouTube chat. But other people who have been taught by great people tell you do something not for yourself, but for humanity. That's what I try to do, because that's how you become a venerated ancestor, not a YouTuber, not a YouTube chat, young man. So you're here to disturb the show until I block you, right? And I don't have to keep you on my show. On some of the other shows, I had to keep you. My show, I don't have to keep you. But just look at me in my face, in my eyes right here. See my eyes? Look at that. I'm gonna look at you. Shakir, currently in your life, you're nobody, right? I'm looking at the screen, so let me look at the camera. Look at my eyes. Currently in your life, you're on my page. You're looking at my interview. I don't look at you. I can't even find you. I use my real name. And I have to say that to people. Your education is what? Your degree is in what? You work where? Right? What have you done for humanity? So, with that said, family, I have to talk to people like him and other people like that, right? Because I have to tell them, somebody has to tell them in their life, you don't make a difference. You're just a YouTuber in a chat, messing with someone who was able to do something, ask a question that hopefully may that Dr. Hawass will positively respond to in his work by updating his work in the Gym Museum with a science component and releasing more DNA that can help humanity instead of trying to have a hegemony on Egypt as if it's theirs, right? So that's why we do the work, right? To move humanity, not to be a YouTuber, to be downright irritable, right? And irritating. So with that said, any more comments from anybody? Um,
Well, Brother Reggie, thank you very much. I appreciate you bringing for the interview. I actually came on late, so I'm going to go back and watch it.
no, no, wait, wait,
And
wait,
I
wait,
need to
wait. Hold
tell
on, hold on, hold on.
people,
Before you do that, no, Shakir, no. All I was trying to do is do a show on me talking with Hawass, right? So what you should do now is just curse me out. You should do all of that because I wasn't even thinking about you until I started continuously looking at your chat. I'm not trying to get deep on you. I'm gonna double down, Shakir. Maybe this will make you do
So,
something in your
Dr.
life.
Hawass,
Maybe it will make you do something in your life, right? That's important for humanity instead of being racial, right? On a platform. So what I'm gonna do again is, and as I close out, I'm gonna listen to you, Joey. But as I close out, I am going to play the interview again for people who didn't see it. Okay, great. Joey, what you was trying to say?
I was saying people consistently argue with you about your views on Kemet and the Black reality, and you wrote a whole paper on it, and nobody read it. They don't want to read it, but they want to argue with you.
Oh yeah, yeah, but
They need to
that's
go and read the paper and look for some of the
but Joe, Jose, thank you so much
instead of
for
arguing.
thank you so much for reading and covering my paper on your platform. So I have a candidate here who I'm not gonna I don't know if he chatted anything except for saying peace to his brother. But Chief X, I did. If you didn't know, I did talk to Dr. Zahi Hawass yesterday, and I asked him a question, and I got a non-answer. So this replay, this replay. Thank you so much, Sister Kepra. This replay is for you, and I'm going to end the show. Uh, Sister Kepra, hey, thanks for being my sister in a, how can I say, in a special uh, organization that with a very special woman, right? A living nature that connects us to. So you are in my, we're in the same family. So no, Chief X, stay here. So this one is for you, Chief X. Your greatest expert, Dr. Hawass, right? Uh, well, he spoke to me, never you, right? So let's listen to what he says to me, and you figure out if he's right or wrong. So thanks so much, Shezmu. Thanks so much for Joey, Jose. Thanks so much.
Always.
So it's my pleasure. So here we go,
All right, Reggie.
and I'll leave up my wait.
You
Let me
have a
just
good night, right?
thank you so much. So because I may get $10 more support, right? So let me stop this and put in my cash app so I can maybe end this show with making $30. All right. So now I'm gonna share it. So here we go. Share. This one is for you, Chief X.
say welcome to New York. I want to ask you a question about the gym. Yes.
Okay.
Is that okay?
Oh, of course.
Okay, thank you. About the Gym Museum, will it now reflect modern genetic and archaeological studies that show ancient Egypt was never isolated from North Africa and Sub-Saharan Africa. And issues like noses and lips are common throughout North Africa. And the recent finds of Nui rod and the Libyan mummy have phenotypes, but sometimes you seem to attack Sub-Saharan Africa as if the rest of North Africa didn't have those phenotypes. So will you, with the new studies, will you change your views on North Africa and phenotypes? Thank you.
I want you to know one thing. Because if you're saying, I'm not against North Africa, no. Egypt is in Africa. But what I want to say that if the Black Americans announce that they're the origin of ancient Egypt,
he had to bring in the Black Americans. I didn't ask him about that for no freaking reason whatsoever. He has to bring in what the Black Americans are talking about. He's so scared of what the Black Americans are talking about because we're an easy scapegoat. But go ahead, Dr. Hawass.
This is not correct. Why? Because the kingdom of Kush, the Black Kingdom, always were under the Egyptian control until 500.
That was a lie. Kingdom Kush had its own independent country, culture, right? And so they were never completely vassals. And then, so that's untrue. And you're an Egyptologist. That clearly can be debunked.
BC, the kingdom of Kush controlled Egypt for more than 100 years. Means that the kingdom of Kush has nothing to do with the beginning of the Egyptian civilization. Because if you...
No, Dr. Hawass, oversimplifying it. These are North Africans, Northeast Africans, and so the people intermingled. So we're not talking about the kingdom of Kush in the early periods. We're talking about the peopling of Nile Valley, which was already began talking about in UNESCO. Now we have DNA. Who are you fooling, Dr. Hawass, right? People have education. Let's continue.
Look at the origin of ancient Egypt. There were 3 theories. One by Sheikh Al-Tayyib from Zinga, who announced the big theory that the Egyptian origin were black. Because he saw some black statues, Ramses II and Khalifa. UNESCO made a conference in Paris, and they published a book like this to tell briefly what I'm telling you now. Number 2, there was a second theory that the origin of people came from Africa and Asia. And this is why, because the people in the Delta have a little, the face is light. They came from Asia. And the African, the people in Upper Egypt, has a dark skin. But there is many people don't believe in this. The third theory, that the origin of the Egyptian is a cemetery was excavated by Petri in Akkada, and he insists with a big study that this could be the origin of the Egyptian. And what I want to say, that I'm not against it, but this is the truth. That the kingdom of Kush, the Black Kingdom, ruled Egypt at the end of the Egyptian history, 500 BC. That's my view.
But Dr. Hawass, really quick.
No, we only have one.
Wait, one real one quick. Since he talked about the Black Americans, I do want to say one thing. The modern Egyptians are distinct from the ancient Egyptians, and you have Sub-Saharan DNA. That's what makes you distinct from the ancient Egyptians. But thank you and welcome to New York.
Thank you.
Dr. Hawass's assertion in the questioning to me that Egypt...
Okay, so let me tell you, simpletons. I don't know where it got lost in my video, but it's there, right? Where I didn't, how can I say, I didn't put it on the queue. You simpletons, right? Humanity was born in either the Rift Valleys or Southern Africa. That is clearly Sub-Saharan. The peoples moved to the migrated throughout Africa as hunters and gatherers. You simpletons. Groups of people did go to North Africa, but humans migrated from the Rift Valley, Sub-Saharan Africa or Southern Africa to North Africa. Then in North Africa, they became distinct. But you racist simpletons, right, forget that your parents are from Sub-Saharan Africa, so-called Sub-Saharan Africa. And you stupid simpletons don't understand that in many of the periods, there was no Sahara, you stupid simpletons, because of the various climatic changes. There was the wet phase, and then of course, and then we know about the Green Sahara. So you simpletons think that there was always a desert. You are so understudied, so unlettered, right? And but YouTube allows you to breathe. I'm not going to let you breathe, right? You do not understand the different periods of this earth. And so in one of the phases, Africans left out of Africa to Asia and Europe, right? In one of the phases, because there was no stupid desert, there was no Sahara, you simpletons. I can't believe how stupid you are. And then you turn around. I'm not talking about my audience. I'm talking about the simpletons and the stupid ones and the racist ones, right? And so and you don't understand that there were other species of hominids, right, who migrated across Africa, independent, not even knowing of a word or an area called the Sahara. You stupid people, right? So you want to come back over here and you want to use words like sub-Saharan, but we're talking about migrating peoples, human beings, but you want to be racial and racialize them, right? And so that's the problem with how you think. So I will go and find my video on when there was not a sub-Sahara. So maybe you could stop using the word and understand that these are human beings, but you want to separate human beings based on races and regions because you're racist, you're unlearned, you're simply stupid. This is 2025. We have access to the most information of any generation, but your paradigm blindness keeps you from freaking thinking, right? Your paradigm blindness has you think that sub-Saharan Africans are not related to the Africans in that you call North Africa. So you're caught up in regional bullshit and geography BS, right? And that's why I can't make my channel kids friendly, because sometimes I just have to use a goddamn explicit on you. You want to say that the North Africans had no sub-Saharan DNA. You have got to be the most stupidest people, right? Before the genome studies, this was the thinking of the colonial mind. You are outdated, right? Irrelevant. You are stupid, right? Now we have DNA that's getting higher resolution, so we can do better genome studies to show, and we know that the North Africans is not a separate race than the groups that you're calling sub-Saharan. You stupid people. So you can be in my chat and say all these stupid things about the ancient Egyptians not being connected, having sub-Saharan DNA, but you do know about the Badarian groups of people, right? You know the studies on the Badarian groups of people. Where did they come from? They didn't come from the Levant. You stupid people, right? They can. So what we don't have yet is a sequence individual from Badaria, from Badaria, right? The Badarians. We don't have that yet, but we are close to getting it. The problem is we're not probably going to get it from Egypt. because Egypt economy is tourism, right? So you want to play the skin games. I'm not playing skin games. I'm talking about geography. I'm talking about DNA. I'm talking about humanity. But the difference is, as I close, I got, and I'm thankful to be able to talk to Dr. Zahi Hawass to at least ask him, will he change? He's Dr. Zahi Hawass, right? The world will make him change. The difference is, I'm talking to some of you people in this chat, you racist people. You don't have enough information to change and you're not relevant. So check this out. I don't mind my low views, but I'm going to tell the truth. And if you ain't got no college and you chatting on me, and if you don't have my experience, never worked in a research library, right? Save your breath. Go to them other channels. And Chief X, well, how can I say the walls have closed up on you, right? You're trapped, right? You failed. Uh, Dr. Zahi Hawass talked to me and not you. So keep pouring your liquor, keep yelling, um, and y'all have a nice day, right? So, with all of that said, thank you so much for your time. Um, I appreciate it. Um, you are free to use the clip to do reaction shows. Please credit Dr. Zahi Hawass because he made it possible. Please credit Dr. Ricketti's school, right? Because they gifted it. I know you don't have to credit me. I'm speaking. So you ain't got to credit me, right? But I was there. You wasn't. I moved the needle. You go bake a cake, right? You bake a cake because you're not me. You don't breathe the air that I breathe, right? You haven't been through in life what I've been through. Can't tell me who your mentors are, right? And all we ask, look, I like a good fight. I like a good fight. Get some education and write a paper and yeah, and do something. Write it down. Write an abstract. Write your work down. Maybe I'll read it. Maybe I'll counter it. So let me see. If I Egyptian word Sub-Saharan, pre-non like as a small right. That's has some Sub-Saharan in my mind. Yeah, that's right. Right. That's right. That's right. That is simply right. So some of my readers get it. Some of not just mine, but people who study. But you racist people who talk this Sub-Saharan big nose, big lips, you stupid people. The the parents of us all carried their genome, and it made Africa diverse. You stupid children, ignorance, and other groups came in, and they mixed with those, and they absorbed into Africa, and so that's why when someone like Hawass says big nose and big lips, he's got way bigger lips than mine. Me and his nose is about the same size, so he can come to the cookout. Some of you can't. So with that said, I don't want to argue with some of you racists right now. Uh, I don't want to argue. Okay, so now Kent gotta go. So that's it. So I'm gonna block you. Thank you, and I'm going to thank you so much. So so Kent wants to pull other people to another show. That's fine. I respect the pseudo killers, but he's a disrespectful person. So I hope Dr. Ben and Dr. Clark will be proud of me. So with that said, I'm put on some music and I am going to close. And you haters, you keep hating, but you lost. You lost. So let me just put on some.
All right, brother Reggie, you have a good night, right?
You have a great night. Thank you.
Thank you very much for doing what you do because you are inspiring me, huh?
I hope
You might turn me into a writer yet, huh? You might turn me into a writer yet, huh?
that would be
So you
my
might
hope.
see an abstract from me, brother.
That would be my hope.
All right, brother. I'm gonna try my hand at it right. All works out. Thank you. You enjoy the rest of your night, right?
You too, sir.